I was cleaning up the shop after a project, and it occurred to me that I'm constantly moving this old small cast iron pot, something that I had rescued from a scrap pile. Kind of interesting, but it doesn't have a place. So, time to find a place. And looking right above the miter saw is a place. This thing is kind of heavy, and I could just hammer a nail in and hang it and be done, or it could be a project. I'll think about it. A couple of days later, I noticed a pulley that I'd picked up at an antique mall several years ago. This would be perfect to anchor that cast iron pot to the wall. And I have some old chain hanging on the pegboard. This task just came together. I don't know what it was used for, but somebody had attached a washer welded to an Allen wrench, and so it must have been hanging off of some piece of equipment. And I think this would make kind of an interesting thing to hold that pot handle with. The first stop is to make the chain that has an Allen key into a chain with a hook. So we'll get out the torch and add a little heat, and when it gets cherry red we can use pliers to form a hook. And now we have something that can hold a pot handle. Looking at the pulley, I realized I'll need a spacer to hold it away from the wall. And making spacers, that means a trip to the machine shop. Well, I'm in the machine shop, and the lathe has been moved to an adjacent wall, so it looks like there's a little work to do. The lathe will have to be reconnected to the phase converter before this project can continue. Now with the lathe once again wired, it's off to the shed to find material that I can use for the spacers. Okay, so I'm heading into the shed to see if I can find a little piece of black Delrin material that I want to use to make my standoffs. And all of Delrin is down in this area. And I'm not sure, but I see two pieces here that look interesting. And this one I kind of like. And this one is a maybe. I'll have to measure it. If it's an inch, I probably will use it. So now, onto the lathe. Okay, the lathe is wired and working. I've got material. Finally, it's time to make some spacers. The material I chose is some kind of a dark, translucent amber. I have no idea what it is. It isn't as hard as Delrin, but I found that I can cut and drill it on the lathe. What I'm doing now is parting off the first piece. All of this is to make a standoff that is 1 inch long and has a 3/16 inch hole. But this is what I like to do. So, let's see what I've got in here. Not a lot. What I'm after are some little 1/4-20 little rusty bolts. So looks like I've got a few of those and a couple washers. So I think that's what I'm going to use. Is mounting complicated? No, I'm just hanging a pot. But considering the weight of the pot, I've chosen to use a MOLLE wall anchor. Here's my idea for how to mount this to the wall. I'll drill a hole, then using the provided screw, I'll install the MOLLE. And once the MOLLE is expanded in the wall, I'll replace the MOLLE screw with a threaded stud. The spacer I just made will screw onto the threaded rod. And finally, the pulley assembly will bolt to the spacer using the rusty 1/4-20 bolts. That's it. This will space the pulley away from the wall and provide a secure hold for the weight of the pot. Finally, time to mount the pulley. Earlier, I'd marked the location for the top spacer. I don't need much more than a pilot hole, so the drill punches that out in seconds. And quick as that, the top spacer is in place. Measuring down, I mark, then drill a hole, and then mount the lower spacer. We are almost there. At this point, it's almost like IKEA, but without the instructions. And now the pulley. If everything lines up, this will be easy peasy. And of course, it lines up. Both bolts go in finger tight, and then a little oomph with a nut driver, and we're almost there. Well, you can see what I'm seeing. I have a pulley on a chain and the weight of the pot. I'll need an anchor mounted to the wall. The anchor solution is a horseshoe-shaped piece of sheet metal. This little piece is off of a project from way back 25 years ago. Later, disassembled and tossed into a coffee can of something useful. And today, it's useful. And here it is, my melting pot. Come on, Dubby. Come here. Good puppy.